Hello guys, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to make synthwave music. So the first thing you're going to want to do is change the tempo down to around 90 to 100 BPM. That's the best for synthwave. If you want to do like a synth pop kind of thing, then I guess you can increase the tempo. Then I'm going to change the key to C# minor because that's the key I'll be using today. Now I'm just going to get a grand piano and lay down the bass for my chords. I'm going to pencil in some chords now, and one thing to remember is primarily use 7th chords because they're better for synthwave. Also, if you're wondering, I'll be using a 1-6-7-5 progression, but you can use whatever you like. Now I'm going to look for a good pluck sound which I can use for a bass. I'm going to use the basic radar pluck for this. So on this basic radar pluck, there was a bit too much high end than really what I wanted for this song, so I just toned it down with a bit of EQ. Now, instead of penciling my notes like a peasant, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the chord MIDI, and I'm just going to select all the bass notes by holding Shift, and then I'm just going to copy paste that over to my bass track. To make the bass line for this song, you're going to want to play 16th notes with your pluck sound. So this is like our low end bass. I'm eventually going to make a mid and a high bass later, but for now we'll move on to our drums. So in terms of our drum sounds, I'm just going to use a 707 kit which I downloaded from the internet. You can also use the stock 707 kit that you can get on Ableton, but I just prefer using the authentic sounds. So to make our drums, we're just going to do a 4 on the floor kick and then a snare drum on every 2 and 4 beat. I'm just going to make a group out of these two sounds and call them drums. Now I'm going to make a rolling hi-hat with 16th notes. You're going to want to change the velocity of these two notes, so one's loud and one's quiet. Now I'm going to route everything else to a mixer track. This is because when I'm sidechaining everything, I don't want to use the main track, because that was sidechain the rest of the drums as well, like the hi-hats, which I don't want to do. So I'm just going to sidechain the instruments by making them into a group, and then sidechaining them. You can do that by opening up a compressor, then clicking the sidechain button so it turns orange, and then just clicking the kick on the drop-down menu. And then you're just going to lower the threshold by lowering the blue bar. Now I'm going to add a massive amount of reverb to the snare, but before this I'm just going to EQ it. Now I've EQ'd it, I'm just going to add some reverb. So I forgot to do this before, but I'm just going to add an open hat on the end of every 4th beat. But before that, I'm just going to add a plugin called Tilt V2 onto that track so that it makes the hi-hat less sharp and more dull. It's kind of hard to explain, but you understand when you hear it. If you want to learn more about the plugin, then just go onto the Ed Talenti's Best Plugins of 2022, I think, something like that. Now I'm just going to quickly make a tom fill to lead us into the drop. I'm just going to pitch down a 909 snare by 17 semitones to create a kind of crash effect. It sounds really cool. Now I'm just going to add a respace. Now I've downloaded a respace preset on Vital, which is a really powerful plugin. It's basically Serum, but for free. I would highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite plugins. So this is a Respace preset I downloaded off YouTube. It's really good, and I'm just going to leave this on screen for a couple of seconds just in case you want to copy it down. Gonna add another pluck sound, but this time it's from Vital, and it's probably going to be a bit higher pitched. Now I'm just going to add an arpeggiator using the stock arpeggiator plugin on Ableton. Now I'm just going to add another pluck sound, just in case I didn't have enough already. Now I'm going to add in a fat lead, so I'm just going to use a saxophone and a synth from Wavetable. Pretty much making solos and like leads is pretty simple. The easiest way to do it is just get a pentatonic scale and just click random notes and hope it sounds good. So I clicked a bunch of random notes, and this is what I thought sounded good. So that's pretty much it for this video. I arranged it a bit, and here's the final beat. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.